Hello and welcome to another How to Crucible weapon review, and today we're looking at Disrespectful Stare. Now, this pulse rifle has been in my inventory for quite a while. It's been stored in the vault for quite a long time. I got this in Season 1. It's been a while. It's been a while, Disrespectful Stare. It finally stared at me the wrong way. Let's get into this weapon, shall we? So, the first thing I want to talk about is my experience with the weapon. I want to say right now that this weapon is honestly the most consistent weapon I have used in the entire game at this point, right now. Every gunfight I went into, I knew exactly what the outcome was going to be, honestly. Like, firing this weapon felt really good. Honestly, it's the best thing that I have actually used in a while, even though the stats that I'm about to give you aren't going to be that crazy or anything. If you're looking for a weapon that is going to be consistent in every single gunfight you get into, this is the one you're going to want to use. Honestly, this is probably the best pulse rifle that I have used since Autumn Wind and Vigilance Wing. Honestly, this is one of the best pulse rifles that you possibly can use, I'm pretty sure. So let's go ahead and talk about its stats real quick. So you saw them in the beginning. If you want to go back and look at them real quick before we go on, that's okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at impact. It is a little bit low, obviously, but it is a lot higher than a lot of the other pulse rifles out there. And by I mean that it does about 29 headshot, I think. 29 headshot per bullet, so that's almost 30 per bullet. So you're almost doing 90 damage per trigger pull. So there is a potential to actually two-burst somebody full headshots. And it is quite nice to do such a thing. Honestly, I did it a couple times, and it is awesome. Feels amazing. Moving on to range. Range is really good. Range is almost full, and that is really prevalent when actually firing the weapon. So I want to talk about long range, mainly because the range is all the way up. We're going to talk about long range. Long range, I felt fantastic. That's where the consistency comes in for me. Honestly, the long range gunfights that I got into, I knew if I was going to win or if I was going to lose every single time. I mean, it felt really good, and honestly, the burst is really nice fires. Like when we talk about stability and handling, it's so nice to shoot people from long range. Up close, it's a little bit difficult, I would say, just because it is a slower shooting pulse rifle. That's one of the intrinsic perk is it's a slower shooting, heavier hitting pulse rifle. So it is going to be maybe a little bit difficult to hit people up close, but it is really nice to use at long range. Moving on to stability and handling, the recoil of the weapon is very predictable. And so this is where the extra consistency comes in, it's super predictable to actually kill people. I mean, it's a straight up recoil, straight up. And so if you aim it at like chest level, you're going to hit probably the back half of it in the head every single time. And you can honestly get really used to the recoil quite quickly. And I mean, I did. And then once you get used to it, it's very easy to hit headshots. 100% easy to hit headshots. Then moving on to reload speed. Reload speed really isn't anything special. It's a normal reload speed. It might be a little bit slow, but it's nothing too slow that's going to affect you pushing wise or anything else. Rounds per minute, 340 rounds per minute. So it's not super slow, but it's not super fast like the 450 shooting pulse rifle that I've done before. I honestly don't remember the name of it, but I did it. I'm pretty sure I just did it recently. Battle Scar. I did Battle Scar recently, and it was 450, so it is a little slower. It's about 100 rounds per minute slower, but it's not too slow. And then it's got 27 rounds in the magazine. So let's go ahead and take a look at perks. The intrinsic perk is the slower shooting pulse rifle, and it is just how the weapon archetype works. And then we have armor piercing rounds. And that perk is pretty good. It honestly does a little bit of damage to the shield, so it's quite nice there. It adds a little bit of extra damage, I'm pretty sure, to the actual weapon, just doing the damage to other players. So, I mean, with the two burst, I'm pretty sure you can two burst people, and I'm pretty sure this helps out a lot. And then the last one is Pulse Monitor, the last one that I really want to talk about, and it auto-reloads part of your magazine when the wielder is critically wounded. This, honestly, helped me a lot. So, think about when you're in a battle, right? You're in the middle of a battle, and you come up to this guy, and he hits you a lot right away. but he doesn't critically wound you. And so you start shooting him and you're getting closer down to the gunfight where you're about out of ammo, you're going to have to reload, and he's actually hitting you even more. You get critically wounded, and you have like a burst left. You fire that burst, he critically wounds you, part of your ammo reloads, so you get like 18 more bullets. So you've got 6 more trigger pulls right there. You're able to hit the last shots and kill him right there. Easy. So this perk, honestly, I didn't notice it a whole lot activating, but I'm pretty sure if you watch and you kind of maybe pay attention, you might actually see it popping up a lot. There were a lot of times where I was in gunfights and it seemed like I shot a little bit extra than 27 bullets. So, I mean, that's what, 9 trigger pulls? I'm pretty sure there's a couple gunfights where I was doing more than 9 trigger pulls there. So it did do work, and I'm glad that perk is there. Honestly, if you're using this weapon and you're in a situation like that, this would really come in handy, especially if you're in 1v2s or 1v3s even. Honestly, you're fighting one guy, you kill him, and you don't have enough ammo to kill the next guy, but he critically wounds you, it reloads, and you have plenty of bullets to murder that kid now. So honestly, this is probably one of the best perks out of there, out of the last ones. I'm going to go ahead, let's go ahead and rate these now that we've talked about the weapon enough. We're going to go ahead and give perks an 8. Just because of that one, and then also the armor piercing rounds. Armor piercing rounds honestly brings it up to about 6.57 anyways, and then this adds a whole new point to it. So I'm going to go ahead and give perks an 8. Now let's go ahead and talk about our long range. Long range was very, very good. It is honestly one of the best out of the best long range weapons that I've had to use, and so I'm going to go ahead and give long range a 9. Not quite a 10, but a 9. So 10 would be probably Graviton Lance or the Mida or something else that is honestly perfect at long range and then not so great at short range, but this did very, very well at long range, and then it also did really good at short range. So long range, we're giving it a 9, and then for short range, we're going to go ahead and give it a 7. So when I talked about the recoil and the predictability of just shooting up, if someone's close to you, it's actually very easy to hit your shots. 100%. So the recoil isn't like crazy like some weapons is. It's like side to side or kind of like diagonal. This one is just, it's literally straight up, and so it is very, very easy to kind of predict where the player's gonna be, and then just burst him, and then you'll hit headshots there. You'll hit high body headshots, and then you have a kill. Easy. So short range, we're going to go ahead and give it a 7. So for effectiveness, you know that we have an equation for this. So we have to calculate kills and assists and deaths. So for kills and assists, we had 282 kills and assists. So that is a good amount. And then for deaths, we had 180. So if you take the kills divided by the deaths, we go ahead and get our KD, our kill death ratio, and our kill death ratio was 1.57. So it wasn't that great, honestly, but I think maybe that was just because of my performance. There were some games, there's one of the games where I'm pretty sure it's one of the best games I've ever had on Destiny. It is literally one of the best games I've had, and I'm going to have it in a different video. It's not going to be in this one. You're getting different footage. You will get a different video, though, for this weapon, just mainly because I very much enjoy this weapon. But let's go ahead and do our equation. So if you add 282 plus 180, you get 462 total. So that's our T for the bottom, and then our kills is obviously 282. So we take 282 divided by 462, and we're going to get a total of a 6.1 for effectiveness. So there we have 4 numbers. Now we can do overall rating. So we just add all those numbers up and we divide by 4, and that number is going to be 7.5 for overall rating. So let's go ahead and add all those numbers up, and we get a 37.6. Pretty good score. A very good score, actually, if I do add. Now let's go ahead and get into the ranking process. If you don't know, I'll let you know right now. I take the weapon against all its counterparts. So I take this weapon against all the pulse rifles. So I take the 37.6 and I do it all against the pulse rifles and rank it via that way. And then I'll go ahead and rank this weapon via the entirety of Destiny to the weapons that I have done. Let's go ahead and take our first category, which is pulse rifles, and we're going to rank it against there, and it actually comes out to 3rd underneath the weapons that I said before, Autumn Wind and Vigilance Wing. I want to say it's going to be below Gravitron Lance when I actually do it. I'm going to do that one actually. I think I want to do that one next for the retrial, just because the exotics got buffed, and so it would be nice to have the exotics brought up to the level where they need to be for the retrials. But yeah, I got 3rd. Then for the entirety of Destiny 2, A score of a 37.6 gets it very high, and it's going to be 14th. So it does get in the top 20, and when the weapon is in the top 20, that means it's a pretty good weapon. So the last part of the video that I do is, should you use the weapon? Should you use the weapon? Should you not use the weapon? What's it like? I want to tell you right now that if you haven't used Disrespectful Stare ever in Crucible, try it. Try it 100%. It's something that is honestly needed for you to try because it's a very consistent weapon. If you're going to use a weapon that you want to have consistency and you know the recoil and you're going to very much master the weapon, this is one that's quite easy to do very quickly. I played a couple matches, and the first 3 matches I had over 20 kills. And that was the first 3 matches I ever touched the weapon. Usually I do some warm-up matches, and then I get into the weapon, and then I start actually counting the games. I didn't even have to count a game. I just went into the match and I had 20 kills, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to count this, and I'm just going to start. I would go ahead, recommend using it, even though I had a KD of a 1.57. I do think that there is some games where you're going to actually do very, very well. Try it from long range, try it from short range, do whatever. I do believe this is a weapon that if you want to be good in the Crucible, it's probably good. I think maybe this might be a good competitive weapon, just saying. Like in the competitive playlist, I feel like this is probably a very good weapon. It does very good at long range, and it can actually outburst some of the good scout rifles that I was noticing. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more content from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you later.
I'm glad you came.